Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make some nativities out of just pieces of scrap wood. And these happen to be scrap fence panels. And so what I did with these is I took this little stencil that I have, and I've had this for years, so I'm not going to be able to find this exact one to link in the description, but I did find some similar ones, and that's all you need here, because what I did was I took a little section of a fence panel that is a few inches longer, actually a couple inches longer than my stencil, and I cut sections from each fencing board in the length that I needed. And then I put my stencil on that and marked where I needed the pitch on each side. Now this is not an exact pitch. It's not a pitch that's exactly in the middle. So this is super simple in that there is no measuring to do. You're just going to cut your board a little bit longer than your stencil. And no measuring to do on your roof pitch, because again, you're just going to mark each side where you need it to clear your picture, if that makes sense. And then you're just going to take that at an angle up to the top. Now this is supposed to resemble just a little stable. So again, you don't need it to be perfect at all. So I honestly think that this couldn't be any more simple than it is. And it doesn't look like much right now, but it makes the cutest little nativity. And because these are so small, the fencing board is thick enough that it will stand on its own without putting it on a base. Again, I couldn't find this exact stencil, but I did find several that would work. And these could even be done with just the Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. And you would just have a shorter one, and it would just be shorter and more tall. So just about any stencil or nativity stencil will work with these. And I even have a larger one that I'm going to make a larger version of this, and that's one that I've made for the last couple of years, and they've sold really well for me, so I'm making them again this year and changing them up just slightly. Anytime that I make the same Christmas decor, I try to change it up somewhat from the last year. Again, these are just ones that have sold well for me in the past, and so as long as they're selling well, I'm just going to continue to make them. But this year is the first year that I've actually done this size, and this is one that I'll sell for $5. Now, last year I sold my other ones for $12, and I will go up to $14 this year. But to get $5 out of this little piece of a fence panel, no more work that I'm going to have in it, I feel like is a good deal, and I think they'll sell well. Now, you could use paint for this, but if you watch me long, you know that anytime that I can stencil with my Stays On ink, that's what I would rather use, because it has so much neater finish than if you were trying to stencil with paint. And these little brushes are just makeup brushes. So I will link in the description these brushes as well, because they work so well for stenciling with ink. As you can see here, I've cut several of these, and I can just knock them out very quickly. So this is the first step, actually, after cutting the board, then stenciling this on, and then I'm going to get some sticks from the yard and make the roof on this. So there's almost no material in this, and very little time. So I made several of these, probably about 20 or 25 of these in maybe an hour. So that's how quickly this goes. The boards that I had were already painted, so I didn't have to do that. But even if you did have to paint it first, there's still very little in this. Now, I would probably dry brush. If I needed to paint this, I would probably dry brush the color on, and you're using less paint, and you don't have to work as hard to get distress on it either. Now, some of these I'm using black ink, and some I'm using a gray ink. I think, as it turns out, I prefer the ones with the black. Now again, I'm linking several of the stencils that will work on these small ones, and then I'm also going to link some that will work on the larger nativities. Now, as you can see here, I've gathered several sticks from the yard, and you want them somewhat straight. If they're not perfectly straight, that's not a big deal, because it's still going to work. You just want to make sure that it's straight enough that you get enough contact with your board for it to stick. Now, I have a couple of hang tags to show today. One is from Ohio and one is from Louisiana. And I'm starting to get a pretty good collection of these to decorate a tree with. So I'm excited to put that tree together. And for those of you who haven't heard, I am decorating a tree in my store with a collection of Christmas hang tags from the viewers. And I have a wall that I've been collecting hang tags for a while now, but a viewer suggested that I ask for hang tags for Christmas and decorate a Christmas tree with them. And I thought that was a great idea, so that's what I have been working on now. So I've added these to the top here, and then I decided I wanted that roof to be to kind of blend. So instead of leaving that raw wood for the roof, I used some brown paint and just painted that roof so that it would blend. And as you can see, it just kind of blends together with that wood. Try not to get really anything on that, but where I did, you couldn't really see it. So, and I guess that's the idea, is to paint the top a color that blends with the stems that you use. And then I just finished these off with a clear coat, and that's really all there was to them. And then, as I mentioned, I did some larger ones that are more mantle top size or tabletop size, and this is what they looked like. And with those, I did them the same way, except that my husband ripped some of the fencing boards down to make that across the top, and also that strip across the bottom so that it would stand up, since it is a larger one. And obviously I stained both the top and bottom pieces and put a rusty star that I dry brushed some of the color buttercream on. And I also did these in a crackle finish, and that was one of the changes I made this year. Now here are the beautiful hang tags that I got in the mail today. And this one was made by Heidi from Ohio. And I just love the colors on this. I think that might be embossing done on the cardstock. And I love this beautiful handmade flower. And the back of this one was just as pretty as the front. And I just love the stamp that she added on this one. And then she added a vintage button and some texture underneath that and lace. I really love this one. It's so pretty. Now this one, she said she made from a CD. And I love the beautiful colors on this and how creative it was to use a CD that you would otherwise throw out. And I guess this is a partridge in a pear tree, and it's just so pretty. And I wouldn't have guessed this was from a CD had I not seen this side, but it's just beautiful. I think the silver from the CD goes really well with the snowflake. And this next one was made by Rhonda from Knoxville, Louisiana. And I think this one is so pretty. And I really love the look of the vintage pictures that she used on this one. It's just such a pretty hang tag. And then the other side of this one is also just as pretty. And I don't know if she used a napkin on this or decoupage paper, but I think it just turned out so pretty. And both of these ladies did 2 hang tags. And here's another one with that vintage picture on it. And I love the colors that she used on both of these. Those vintage colors with that deep red background. I think it just turned out so pretty. And this one, she tore a square from, it looks like maybe a tea towel, and stamped on that. And I just love that look so much. 2 very talented ladies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.